The entire grueling journey of this Team Liquid roster, constantly on the verge of victory, is like a true fairy tale with a happy ending. But wait, maybe I can tell you the story exactly like that? A lot of time has passed since Team Liquid was winning tournaments, but that feels like a distant memory from another era. And now, it was as if the team's management leaped into an abyss of uncertainty by signing a roster that was only remembered for an unfortunate gyro ban.
I think gyro.
The new roster just couldn't get close to the coveted victory at a Tier 1 tournament, all because of a terrible dragon. He sat on his hoard of gold, letting no one near it. That defeat was the first, but it was already filled with despair. Box's illness and the haunting face of Lina appearing in nightmares. Such was the team's path. Constant aspiration for victories and princesses in dreams, but loneliness and emptiness in reality. Everything seemed destined to stay that way, yet the knight never lost hope or the strength for future triumph. The last trial before the journey to the princess was a fateful encounter with a warrior named 1W. What a glorious battle it was. 1W gave his all, leaving everything on the battlefield. And as for Liquid, he simply stood over the defeated foe, lost in wood.
For me, it was a harder event than Riyadh and TI, just because we ran into a lot more issues. And I think maybe even running into those issues might have helped long term, because we had some talks, we had dealt with some stuff that maybe we didn't realize were like important before. But overall, I'd say, yeah, it for sure had an impact. Whether it was like the reason we ended up winning TI, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. But it was important for us to finally win something again, because the last time we had won was 2020, I think October, so it had been like 4 full years.
In the first game, I later played on thanking, which led to him and Visage being perma-banned in all the following games. And Cloud's excellent performance on Doom forced me to ban him, leaving Fairy free with Beastmaster. Although it seemed like his signature hero, but on that particular map they shut him down and made him abandon this idea. After that, they didn't even ban Beastmaster, prioritizing the highly successful supports from the first game instead. But Fairy free had to pick new, uncomfortable heroes. This turned every game into a struggle. Crimson Guard and Pipe were always completed around the 30 minutes mark, towers were taken late due to the nature of the hero, and Fairy Free was constantly under pressure. And yet, in the heart of the battlefield, there stood on the lone figure in the mid lane, Defiant, refusing to accept the grim fate that had befallen them. Thus it became clear, there was a need to expand the pool of mandatory bans against me, to ensure that Fairy Free finally gets a hero he's comfortable with. Wait a second, why was I being defeated so easily with 1W? That was a battle, a good one. Aurora best cost. And what about you two? Why so silent?
Well, you just beat us down and humiliated us.
Oh really? I didn't even notice. And indeed, if you look in the draft in first match, it's clear that I was experimenting with many heroes. Rumors even spread among the other teams about this. On the surface, everything seemed fine. It helped me understand the meta better. But where did it lead me? To my first defeat.
I think we had general ideas coming into the tournament, but like you said, the group stage it didn't really matter, like, at all. But what matters is that you find like a nice balance between trying things out and still making sure that your ideas that you know work are still viable. So we did for sure try out a little bit during the group stage. We weren't as strict on, okay, we're only picking like these exact concepts that we're 100% sure, just to test out what also works in a tournament environment. But yeah, the idea, I guess, is in group stages like that, it's most important to not maybe try too hard in terms of like bringing all your best ideas on the table, but at the same time you also don't want to try too little, because even when the games don't matter and you start losing, it affects your mentality. So we picked like heroes and ideas that we truly believed in. I don't think we tried anything like completely new whatsoever. I think everything we had played, we already had practiced at least a bit.
Team spirit was enraged and ready for battle, and it seemed unstoppable. Not only their gameplay spoke to this, but so did their training results.
I told them that during scrims, they looked really hot. Like they looked like they were on fire. And I was just thinking, okay, this is gonna be Spirit's third TI, you know. Like the way they're playing is really impressive.
But only a good warrior learns from defeats. And what was the cause? As always, the drafts. Blitz was right to say that Spirit taught him a lot. Mikey, unlike Fairy lose effectiveness significantly when he is not on his signature heroes. So banning Furion and Windranger is essential. And Collapse strong play on Sanking forced the opponents to spend a ban him, which continued in subsequent games. Another point. Liquid is used to the supper playing on healers, so a couple of mutual bans left Insania on an awful Tinker. And for the takeaways, Liquid lost the battle but realized that Lina and Tinker are entirely unsuitable for the team. Then they struck drafting gold. Task for Boxy. Pick it so early, Task would be one of the key options for future drafts. Now, onto the game. With this task, they secure first blood for Visage, which is important on his facets. But let's think about how terrible of a lane Fairy is about to face. Visage can't go against Morphling, so Fairy moves early on, first on mid, then across the map. But here's the thing, Morphling outdamages Lina at equal levels and gold. So any disruption in Liquid's tempo and they lose. While Spirit finds its fights and engages, with Magnus being a perfect Lina counter. So the inability to capitalize on the power spike by 30 minutes, the transition into the late game and the inevitable defeat. The second game and the final drafting touches. A dreadful sniper, no ban on Sanking and a comfortable hero for Mikey. There are also many micro moments here, like the excellent trend steal, forcing Insania of healers, and a brilliant Kunkka flex pick. It's clear, generally, whenever Liquid is forced off tempo, the game becomes exponentially harder. A Liquid from behind, that's just not us.
And something a little bit annoying is that everyone keeps saying like, oh well, Spirit got robbed. They were the only team to beat Liquid at TI. I'm like, yeah, but you know, we learned a lot. There was a lot of games played in between us losing to Spirit and us winning the tournament, right? Like if you go look at our drafts, we got a lot better. We changed our priority on heroes like crazy. Like everything changed.
Liquid had time to reflect, though not much. Bad Boom was already waiting for them. Ironically, the only teams taking maps of Liquid were from CIS, managing to ramp up the tempo even further. The perfect ban plus Furion steal simultaneously hits the hero pool of both Fairy and Mikey. As a result, both are playing uncomfortably. Yes, I declare that Beastmaster didn't work on this tournament, because of terrible win rate and scores in all game. Only his sheer nuisance forced to bans from opponents. Now everything has changed. Now I'll be strong on lanes. I'll use Task again at the start of the second stage, and Enigma and Weaver will secure the early game for me. And now the exact same draft from Bad Boom doesn't work anymore. Another strategy emerges and the pool of permabans grows. 1 permaban, 2 permabans, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many are left up their sleeve? And what happens if the opponents makes even one mistake? I thought for a long time about what Fairy truly gave the team, and the answer is actually simple. The system that any team needs to win on big tournament. The path to the princess was surprisingly easy for the team. Some strange Chinese lunatic who picks Lark as a support and Phantom Assassin as a carry in a tempo meta, and a classy win against Cloud9 gave the Ignite strength for future fights and presented new heroes for drafting. The gladiators are eager to repeat their Riot result and repeat Spirit's success by winning both of the year's main tournaments. Sometimes it feels like they're inevitable. Ace, Signature Broodmother, Duracho's aggressive play, and new, relevant heroes. It all feels like exactly the tempo Liquid has no answer for. Forget the winner's final. The gladiators have returned stronger.
No, we had more heroes actually. To be honest, I feel like I can't remember a tournament we ever played that was this simple in terms of drafting. Because no matter what we picked, we always had like a hero we're happy with. We had like a very stable hero pool. And on top of that, some of our heroes were not really meta, but we were very comfortable on them. So teams either had to choose between banning the absolute best meta heroes or like our heroes, and you can't ban both, and there were just far too many. I mean, examples would be like Neda playing Doom and everyone else losing with it, but then teams have to decide if they ban like this 20% win rate hero against us because we're just gonna win with it.
Yeah, questionable bans. Rubik, Naga, yes, they gave away some heroes. But the gladiators also got theirs. They approached the final with a plan. Lure out Nisha's Pack, the hero he is so confident on, and counter him with a Ricky last pick. And you know, it looked like it just might work. Liquid pulls their supports, disrupting Ricky's tempo. But as soon as the gladiators respond in kind, playing like before, gathering the entire team at mid, the fights repeatedly end in kills for Ricky. Queen starts to hunt like a predator at night, seeking out kills on his own. Attacks on Furion, no teleports, Liquid seems broken and the gladiators' plan works.
Tundra did two very useful things for us in this tournament. One is they did market research as to what we should fucking ban. Like that was the first thing. Like, thank you,
That's good.
Tundra.
That's
Like,
good.
Jesus Christ, Tundra. They really just made TI way easier for us all around. Opened up some of the bans for us. The way that they exhausted gladiators. It was a two-man effort. Like I should have thanked them on stage. That should have been my first thank you.
Surprise or not, once Puck gets his items, once Ricky's tempo is disrupted, the game is essentially over.
I think no matter what, we would have had the same bans, and I think if anything, we can decide to play like slightly different heroes because our hero pool was so big. But the most important thing to winning tournaments, and we knew this beforehand too, but we never really managed to pull it off this nicely, is to like have a system and then like stick to it. And you have a system and you can like change like slight like a few pieces of it, but at the end of the day you do want to have that system, and you just need to believe in it. And if you lose one game, that's fine. You can lose one game. It's a best of 5, and we had just beaten them 2-0 with that exact same system. So there was no reason to change it. They have to like figure out the solution, not we shouldn't have to like give up because we give them problems. They have to figure out solutions. If they beat us with one thing, maybe we adapt like one ban in the second stage or something, but they need to be the ones who figure out what to do. And that's kind of how we ran it, and then it worked obviously.
Well, the gladiator's plan didn't work, but a dragon is still a dragon if it takes the next step. If they couldn't counter Puck, they could steal him. And let's be honest, it was a good idea, but Queen is also a player who depends on his pool and can play effectively on just anything. Unsuccessful ganks, 6th in net worth, and the mid laner is out.
But to me, it's also extremely valuable that he brings such a stable hero pool. I think our players are very good at playing a lot of different heroes and a lot of different styles. And I think it's very good to have like an anchor and in terms of strategy that you can build things around, because we knew Neda would play one of 5-6 heroes and not anything else. And being able to just have that, you start out with like an offlaner first pick, and then you can build your draft around that. I think it brings a lot of stability. So he definitely helped making our gameplay a lot more stable.
The Gladiators are even more cornered. Their ideas aren't working. Liquid is able to stay on tempo again and again, and there just aren't enough bans. But wait a minute, we still have Duracho, who, like Mikey, plays an excellent aggressive style. Why not make a classic TI move? Give the opponents to broken hero and take another for ourselves. This logic changed the first stage bans. The Gladiators left Liquid with a choice. Take Furion for Mikey or Windranger. And we all know what Liquid choose. It seemed like things started working for the Gladiators. Duracho usual moves around the map through the portal, Underlord's ult ensuring a numbers advantage, but Liquid appears unstoppable. A good fight early on, a delayed teleport by Underlord, starting the fight short-handed, and then the auras tightening their dominance. Throughout the final, I barely mentioned Liquid because the main character changed. The Gladiators constantly tried to find the key to victory, first by countering, then by stealing, and finally they simply gave up and handed Liquid all the heroes. The Gladiators were like a cornered beast trying to withstand the Knight's onslaught, but Liquid felt like an unstoppable avalanche. 3 identical carries on the first pick, absolute dominance and an ultra-active playstyle. And now we're left with one question. Who was the dragon in the end?
2024 champions, Team Liquid!
They will go down as the most successful team in the history of TI, but they did not drop a single game when it comes down to playing from the upper bracket.
What a hero.
Yeah guys, that's how it was. A real fairy tale flashed before your eyes. But the fairy tale couldn't escape me. And now, at the end of this video, ask yourselves, could this story have been told any other way?
There's a big difference between me saying like, I still love you at the end of the result, versus me saying like, I'm happy that we lost, or that I'm super okay that we lost. I mean, I'm sure you've interacted with me. I'm devastated every time we fucking lose.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first Bet Boom we played and we got second, I just skipped the after party and I just cried in my hotel room. I just watched an American Dad order room service and I just cried. And it's like, you know, of course I fucking care about this game. I don't need this job anymore. I've done it for such a long time, but like, I only do it because I enjoy doing it. And I thought that my way of doing it was healthy and productive. I mean, we might have like the longest standing core trio of all time at this point, right? I think we've like blown past the previous record. You think that's done because I create some like toxic atmosphere? You know, nobody really quits on my team. Like, everybody just kind of retires, which is kind of annoying. We can address the 33 thing later, but yeah, so it's like, I want to create a positive environment where people are happy to work there, like happy to show up to work, and I don't want to just like win an event and then just like everybody just pieces and like quits, you know, as soon as we win. And I would have been okay with that, like whether or not I won or lost TI. So like winning TI is obviously great and it shuts some people up, but at the same time, like that's the main thing that it does.